Hi guys, Jill here, and today I'm going to finally get started on the watercolor videos. I promised them a long time ago. Life has happened, things have been crazy, but here I am. So we're going to start with this one, which was a birthday card I did, and we're going to start with the hedgehog. He was the first one requested, and then we'll do the mice. Maybe both, maybe just one, we'll see. Because when I watercolor, I like to do them in at least 2 steps. Because I find that layering the colors is really what gives you a lot of depth. Now, to work on these, you really truly don't need a lot of supplies. Odds are you have something that you can use for the watercolor. So, this card is just whatever card you have on hand. Then I like to use the Strathmore cold press. It's oh man, you think I'd know this. It's a good thick weight. 140 pound. I also like to use the Canson 90 pound. And with this type of a card, you're not using a whole ton of water. You could definitely get away with the thinner paper. But I just use this because it goes on sale at Michael's a lot for buy 3, pay for 1. So I just have a lot of it around. Okay, then you're going to use some kind of watercolor. I like distress markers. I also like Tombos, and here's the distress marker line up to this point. I have I make a chart. This one you can print at Ranger, which is Ranger Ink, RengerInk.com, and I print it, and then oh my gosh, never fails. Color everything in and laminate it. And then these are my Tombow. They work the same. And same thing. I print it and laminate it. You can also use your La Plume, your Stampin' Up, your Spectrum Noir Aquas, your Kuretake, dual brush, real color, I'm not sure, clean color. I just ordered some of those. I did not order the brush ones, and it's because when I saw Jen on Wednesday, and she's my Blue Bike 101, she brought those, and I really liked the colors. So, but I opted not to get the brush. So, really, you can use a lot of colors. You can use your distress ink pads. You have a ton of options when it comes to watercolor. So, I always like to keep my charts out. I also like to kind of do a quick little chart on the paper that I'm working with, because a lot of the times I work with different papers. So, this is my Strathmore chart. Okay, so again, the markers, I like a brush of some sort. You can use a water brush. I find that they're hard to control. I like a round brush, and this is a number 4. It usually serves my needs for most of the card. And then water. I just like a spray bottle, and of course I had to get the new distress sprayer. I think it's a little overpriced, but of course any Tim Holtz product I love. There's one I don't love, which is the picker tool. And a place to work on a smooth surface. The mat's always good. I like this clear CD because I can use it like a palette. You can use a CD that you no longer use. Anything, really, that's a slick surface. Okay, so again, we're going to do this card. I loved this penny black stamp because it's fully indexed. I unmount my stamps. I actually kept this index and put it in my room, but I also like to copy the index if I'm not going to keep it. And then I like to work on a little clipboard. I get these and my husband removes the clipboard part for me. Okay, so let's move in on it a little and let's plant it where it should be. Okay, so like I said, we're going to work on the hedgehog. And for him, I'm going to end up changing out the actual card, and I'll just replace it when we need to, because he's 2 layers, like I said. Okay, so you've got a lighter underside, and here that is, and then we'll want to go over that. So my cards are all done in stages, so we're going to change over to that. And for him, I used walnut stain, and I used the brush tip. I don't really do a lot with the fine. Okay, so he's the simplest one. We're just going to come in and actually just color full strength onto where his furry quill part is. And it almost looks like fur here. That's why I say furry. To me, he's supposed to look friendlier. And then I get it here, and I just a touch here. And then my marker's fraying. I leave it alone because once I start cutting, I get issues. Okay, so let's put a little on here and see what I mean. You just need a smooth surface. And then I'm going to take it off camera and squirt a little water. See, you don't need a lot. You're going to wet your brush, and then you're going to pinch it. And see, you get most of the water off because we don't want a lot of color. So then we're going to take a little bit of that color. We're going to pull it around. And like I said, really little bit. You almost can't see it at this stage. And his arm, again, we're just going to do a little bit onto his arm. I swear I feel like Bob Ross. Happy little cloud. Oh God, we used to actually watch him in Yan Can Cook on PBS. And when I was really little, we didn't have PBS. My neighbor did though. And I'd go over there and watch her PBS. I was so jealous. So see, my brush is really dry at this stage. Okay, so now let's just take just a little bit more. Okay, and I'm just going to give my brush a little squirt. Get some in the bristles there because it is a little too dry. There we go. And see, sometimes the paper has a little bit more bumpy to it than others. And again, I'm not getting really technical here, guys, because that's not my point here. Okay, so pretty much that's our first stage. And you want that to dry. And I'm sorry about my throat here. I get both dry mouth and my throat acts up. Okay, so next, once again, we're going to rely on our palette, whatever you choose. You know, it's funny, a lot of the times I use the lid for this and it's black because we go up to the hotel a lot, and I keep these markers in the smaller tube that the 12 set came in, and I use the lid because I don't travel with a lot. I always have these packed for the hotel. Okay, so this is the dry one I switched out to. We're really going to do just 2 things on this one. We're going to add the pink on the cheeks and the pink on the feet. And that, I'm just going to add a small pink circle there. And again, I'm going to clean my brush off screen. You hear that. And then I always have a rag. These I get from the hotel. Whenever somebody stains it, they have a lot of people that come here and dye their hair. I don't know what about, hey, I'm in a hotel, I'm going to dye my hair and use all their towels. But people do that. Okay, so right now it's really stark, right? So I'm going to thin that out. And this was abandoned coral. And I like to stay with the same colors. It's what I used on the balloon. I'm going to use it on his package. And I used it here on the hat. And the hat I actually colored at full strength. This I colored partial and watercolored, and then came back in a second time and scribbled it. A little different from the sample, but I scribbled and I colored it full strength on the cake plate. Okay, so see how it went out a little? And then now I'll just come in and do like his inner cheek again. I like it a little brighter than the sample. And that's the fun thing, because it's totally up to you. Okay, put a little on my palette, and I realize at this point I am probably off screen. And then this is where I'm going to do his feet. A little too much water. And so we will do his feet. And like I said, easy. I'm going really slow. This isn't my usual pace. And again, real technical. Use my finger to blot stuff off. And his hand. And I think that cheek really gives him a lot of personality. You know, it makes him smile. And I like to add this in at this point because I can tone it down with his color. Okay, so now we're going to take this back in and we're going to darken him a little. And so once you start darkening is when you see that it starts finishing up here. And that final piece just starts coming together. And you don't have to be exact. You don't have to be just like the you know, the index. But I like blotching it on. And I know a lot of people don't like that look with watercolor. They say, oh, it's amateurish. And you know what? I like the blotches. Look how I'm just lifting my brush up and down. I like that that ends up that way. If you don't, this isn't the technique for you. It's, you know, I understand. So, there's where I like to leave it. And I'm going to tone down these pinks a bit by just taking a little bit of that walnut stain and kind of toning them down. Okay, so there he is. And I might tone down his cheek a little. And he is finished. So I really like how he came out. And you see what I mean? He's really easy. And I'd probably do him in like half the time normally. Okay, so there you have it. He's done. And like I said, I took a lot of time to explain things. The next video, we'll just come in and do a mouse. I'll probably do this guy because I want to go over the little, oh my, envelope. And then we'll move on to the art impression stamps. So, if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. And thanks for stopping by and have a great day.